Oh, we have 2 donations in here. Chrono Cruise donated $10 and said, please name Rydia after me. Cat bag. And Velga Nudes. Sorry, Velga. Wait, I don't know if it's Noodle or Velga. But $1.69 donated. Name it Velga Nudes Kappa. If you want to see the order of donations as far as the names go, you can go to tinyurl.com/AGDE run incentives. And only the top 12 donations will be used for names. And I'm sorry, we're just doing it by order of amount, just for ease sake. So, wishes for specific characters may or may not be granted. And I apologize for that. Okay. So, Nirm here is going to run Final Fantasy IV for us. Take it away, Nirm.
All right, are you ready with the timer?
Ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you. All right, so this is Final Fantasy IV, released as Final Fantasy II in the United States. In this particular version, Final Fantasy II, the developers decided, oh, those Americans don't need all these extra skills that we have, and we need to really simplify the gameplay. And so this game is particularly gimped in terms of like all the different abilities you have. So the Japanese version of this game, every character has about 1 additional ability than what you see here, and that really changes the complexity of the speedrun. Monsters also have like lower hit points in this version, and there's just a number of complex changes. So the category I'm going to be doing in particular is called Any % No 64. There is a glitch in the middle of the game where about halfway through the game you can skip to the end of the game utilizing this crazy glitch, but for this run we won't be doing that. We will be seeing the entirety of the normal story mode, and we won't be using that glitch. Particularly in typical speedruns of this game, I would have already done some RNG manipulation where the encounter seed is set when you press A on the title screen, but that's unique to cart and console combinations. And because this is not my console, I have absolutely no idea where the proper RNG seed is. So I just hit A at some random time. And we'll see how it goes. And I'm also going to be naming characters in this run, so that's going to affect the step route a little bit. And that's also going to change up the encounters. So I really didn't have a good way to manipulate encounters. So this is going to be kind of, I guess, a little more freeform than normal. It's not really that big of a deal. We do have a full game step route in the works. It's not complete yet, but hopefully sometime soon we'll be able to run this game faster at painstakingly hard difficulty. So all the RNG setting in the beginning is all frame perfect, and you have to do it based off of audio cues because there's no visual cue. You just see the title screen, and you're like, "Welp!" And then so it's gonna be a fun time for FF4. So this was the first Final Fantasy game to implement the active time battle (ATB), and in this particular version, the battle speed changes in the menu affect both your party and the enemy party. And so the ideal battle speed to go the fastest is battle speed 1, whereas in Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy VI, the other 2 SNES games, they decided that battle speed will only affect the enemy's ATB. So typically in a Final Fantasy V or VI run, you'll set battle speed to the slowest, which is 6, because that slows down the enemies, but not your party. But in this run, it's all battle speed 1. And here, just going over the story a little bit, Cecil is the captain of the Red Wings. He steals the water crystal from Mysidia, and he goes back to his king. He's like, "Hey, I didn't really like that. We beat them up, and they were like kind of nice about it, and we didn't really like that." And then the king's like, "What? You're betraying me!" And then so he banishes Cecil from being captain of the Red Wings, and has him deliver this UPS package to Myst. which is full of fun stuff. So we're going to grab the tent here. That's going to be for a particular glitch that we're going to do in about 5, 6, 7 minutes or so. And then that's the only thing we're going to do that's interesting right now. This is Rosa. This is Cecil's girlfriend, love interest, you name it. The guy you saw earlier is Kane, one of Cecil's friends. He's the leader of the Baronian Dragoons. This is the castle of Baron. Baron has the Red Wings. They have Dragoons that you never see outside of Kane. And then this guy right here is Sid. He's an airship engineer. Obviously, every Final Fantasy has a Sid of some sort, and this is this Final Fantasy Sid. Typically, in a speedrun, we would take an extra step right here to manipulate our encounters, but because I have no idea what seat I'm on, there's no point. Here, Cecil's crying in his bed, lamenting his evil ways, and being sad about robbing poor wizards.
I'm so evil.
And, what else can I talk about? So, a speedrun of this game, there's going to be a reset right before to trigger a glitch. And what we typically try to do with RNG manipulation in this game is we want to hit a certain seed that will give us basically 0 encounters throughout the entire first part of the game until we reset. And that's the ideal seed, but it's just about every encounter wastes about 6 seconds, and then if it's any kind of back attack or surprise attack, it wastes significantly more because all the enemies get turns then. So being able to manipulate your encounters in this game saves a ton of time, but it's not entirely necessary. So you and your buddy Kane, who is coming with you, deliver this UPS package to this poor unsuspecting village. He's going to go with you, and you're well on your way. And this is the intro. You may have heard this theme before if you've played a Final Fantasy game, just maybe. Oh, well, you've never played a Final Fantasy game. Alright, bye.
So let's get the important question out of the way first. Is this the best Final Fantasy game?
I personally think story-wise and plot-wise that Final Fantasy VI is the best Final Fantasy game, but I do not like the speedrun of it, just because the speedrun of Final Fantasy VI is more menu-intensive and more equipment management intensive, whereas the Final Fantasy IV speedrun is more based off of optimizing boss battles and basically minimizing. There's obviously menu stuff and optimizing menus and optimizing items and grabbing the right items, but this is more of a combat-based speedrun than the Final Fantasy VI speedrun. But in terms of a Final Fantasy game, I do like 6 the most.
That's cool. I haven't played either, but cool.
I recommend playing 6 if you've never played 6 before. It's very good.
Telling me, but like I played 7 when it was on Steam.
All right, I am going to need the names in about 20 seconds. The first 2.
All right, the first 2 names we have are Dakirn, D-A-K-I-R-N.
Okay.
And we got a donation while you were starting for Nirm. I'll read that donation. It says, from Endless Tundra. Hey, Nirm.
Tundra, okay.
Thanks for all the hate you have given me. I'm donating $50 to help charity and to change Rosa's name to Nirm. If that's
Okay, Rosa. I guess we can wait for Rosa.
Okay.
So what would the second one be?
Then the second one after that would be Asimov, A-S-I-M-O-V.
Can you
All
tell
right.
me where my donation is at? How does it do to the others?
D-A-K-I-R-N. And the next one is Asimov.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, so Dakirn and Asimov, which they will be known as.
7 cents. Oh, that's still a while. Too bad.
Okay. So normally we would never go in there to do anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a chocobo right off the bat, and that basically prevents us from getting any encounters. I'm also going to grab that carrot for reasons that will be very entertaining later. But for now, I will keep them a secret. And so Chocobo basically allows me to walk without any encounters. Simple as that. And so this is the first cave, which leads up to the first tutorial boss. In this run, we only have one normal fight where we grind out levels. Every other amount of experience comes from boss battles, and in Final Fantasies later on, they stopped actually giving experience in boss battles. But in this one, they do give enough experience to get you through in a speed run, but I don't recommend running from everything in a typical playthrough of this game. Counter number 3, it's not terrible.
So, you said this is like the whole game, but you're not really skipping much.
I am skipping one dungeon, but no, I'm not skipping much.
Alright, that's a very short run for a Final Fantasy game then, at least from what I know.
Yeah, it's kind of a short run.
It's cool that you can actually play the whole game then. Like this. Because like FF8 is like what? No, wait, what FF10 I know is like 8 hours or something, so that's just way too much.
Okay, so this is the first boss here. It's basically a tutorial boss that teaches you how to use the ATB system. She's eventually going to turn into Mist, which means I can't attack or she counterattacks. There's a technique in this game called plinking, similar to fighting games, where if you press R immediately after you press A, it'll accept that input as an A input. And that can be done in menus, in battles, and all over the place. And shoutouts to the LCC for finding that. And that's actually sped up our menus a little bit. There's also an audio cue right here, so give me 1 second. Okay. So right here, I'm actually duping the Shadow Shield, and that's going to be used to get us a ton of money. The first half of it was done right there. So the way that works is if you select an empty slot that's not the first empty slot in battle, and then unequip something, and then re-equip that empty slot, it sets a value in basically whatever armor slot you equipped. So I'm going to go into the menu later and dupe shields. And that's going to give us all the money we'll ever need for any item we want to buy. And there's another glitch coming up here called the Mist Clip. So in this game, you can go into the menu by walking half steps. I'm actually going to save just in case. Marathon and all that jazz. And by taking half a step and then going into the menu and then using a tent, you basically shift the world map over one, which will allow me to walk onto this town. And I'm going to do the same thing again, walking the other direction, only this time I'm going to save. I'm also going to do some equipping here. I'm going to finish duping the shield here. So I have an empty slot there now. And I need to reset to basically reset the world map to where it was. And you'll notice I'm on top of the town now, and I can walk over and into the other side of the town. And normally you're not supposed to be able to access this town until like an hour and a half into the game. But because I did that glitch, I can go into this town, and thanks to duping shields, I can sell this empty slot for $1 billion jillion dollars, and then I can buy some overpowered equipment for this point in the game called the Dancing Daggers, and that's going to really help our damage throughout basically the first half of the run, until we get to the point of where we would normally obtain Dancing Daggers. This is a character called Rydia's House. There's some endgame equipment in here. One of these is the Tiara, which is equipable by female characters, that raises wisdom by 10, which is 2.5 damage multipliers, which is a ton. And then the Change Rod, which raises wisdom by 5, which is 1.25 multipliers. And so that's some really endgame equipment that we're picking up right in the beginning of the game. And then we see this woman chilling there. Not supposed to see her until this cutscene right here, where we deliver the package. Oh, UPS is here. Oh, we unleashed a ton of bombs on the village. Oopsie.
Oh, now he's gonna feel better.
Yeah. You said there was a glitch where you press R immediately after A, and it counts as another A input.
Yes, it'll duplicate. It duplicates your last input. It can be done with like it can be done in menus with down. I actually think it's L if you do that, but you can basically press one of the shoulder buttons and it will duplicate your previous input. So this is Rydia. That's her mother. Her mother was the summoner of the Mist Dragon, and we killed the Mist Dragon. So we killed her mother. How exciting. Cecil's just full of sunshine and rainbows, burning down villages, stealing crystals, killing people's mothers. And
Time of his life, right?
yeah, and so Cecil's like, we can't keep doing this. Let's abandon Baron. And then Rydia's like, no, I hate you all. And she summons Titan, who kicks our ass. I actually want that here, and I want this down here. Okay. So that's just some item rearrangement. I want items in specific places so I don't have to go further down in menus later. That's about all that is. And so this village blows up. We blow up the entire mountain. So now when we step out on the world map, you'll notice that there's actually a mountain range to the right side of Mist. And we can't actually enter from the right side anymore. So it's actually super interesting that they even coded in a right entrance to Mist, because it shouldn't exist in a normal playthrough. See, it's totally closed off.
Wow.
And so it's very strange, but we'll take it. It helps us in the speedrun.
They knew.
And maybe they did. They're like, was that one developer is trying to sneak glitches through?
I did get an update from Endless Tundra.
Sure.
They said to use Nirm for Rydia as opposed to Rosa.
Okay. And that's still our highest?
Our next highest, yes.
Okay. That can be done. So coming up are going to be the names for Rydia and Tella. Probably in about 2 minutes, give or take. Probably a little bit more. Alright, so this is a fight where typically you would hold A, but you can actually speed up this fight by executing a strategy known as the can't run buffer. And so what this does is, in boss battles, you can start running from a boss battle and it'll pop up a dialogue. It says can't run. And what that does is it'll freeze ATB. And so it's actually faster to trigger that and then do the fight action, because that freezes ATB for that small moment. And if I get lucky on the ATB rolls, I can kill all 3 of these guards before they get a turn. Which I did. And that's random chance, more or less. He's still got his attack call, but there's no soldiers to attack, so he's just going to run away now because he's a jerk. Alright, my inventory's fine. Alright, so Dakirin has vanquished the Baron soldiers that came after him to capture Rydia. And Rydia's like, oh, you protected me. I guess you're not such a bad guy, even though you killed my mother and burned down my village. Yeah, it's not so bad.
That's forgivable.
Yep. And so that tiara we grabbed at Rydia's house, we're actually going to equip it to Rydia right here, because for where we are in the game, it gives a ton of defense, and that's all we're really going to use it for right here. And we're also going to change the party order to basically optimize that as much as possible. And we're also going to move Cecil up and put him in the front row and Rydia in the back row. And even though she has that tiara, she still takes a ton of damage, and that can be an issue in the next boss fight, and some boss fights in the future if things go awry. So this is Rosa. She apparently tried to follow Cecil and caught sand fever. And if you were to talk to this guy over here, you'd be like, oh, the sand fever is only cured by the antlion sand ruby. And so you're basically off to find the sand ruby to cure Rosa now. But we're blowing through dialogue because we're speedrunners. Fun little fact here, you can take a step to the right to come out of the right side of the town instead of the bottom. That saves a step. The frames. Alright. So I'm going to go head up to this cave here. Up to this cave here, we meet this crazy old man babbling about his daughter and some bard or something, and some spoons, I don't know. And so there he is right there. He's got a crazy beard. Crazy beards and capes are a thing in this game. Oh, I got the swag Blue Rydia glitch, where if there are switches characters on the world map, and if you switch characters right as you trigger an event, it'll switch the character but not the palette. And so you can get weirdly colored characters. I'm actually walking back to Kaipo to name Tella right now. So normally we would just keep going, but for the sake of the marathon, I'm walking backwards.
So normally you run with other strats, you said. Is this very different? Like, did you have to practice this like a lot to get it done for a marathon?
No. The only thing I really routed out was where to rename people, because that's basically the only change in the route. Oops, I walked right. But outside of that, nothing's really going to change. I just can't do the step manipulation is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
This is the house, I think. I hope. Yes. Okay, so Rydia is near him, and which one is... What's the next one?
Caliga, C-A-L-I-G-A.
Okay. Hooray, I'm Rydia. C-A-L? Okay. I thought it was K for some reason. Alright, so now we have Dakir, Nirm, and Caliga adventuring on their merry way. Ah, get out of my way. What the hell? Walk right. Holy smokes, dude. There you go. Wow. The troll NPCs.
The RNG is real.
Alright. So you'll notice we switch characters. That's just something I do to keep myself entertained. And it drives people crazy.
I can't see why.
I find it very entertaining.
So this cave, there's one specific treasure chest we're going to pick up that has the darkness sword. That's a sword for Cecil, or Dakirn, and that's going to basically help his damage throughout the next couple of boss fights and help us out. I'm like playing off both TVs. This is strange.
It is weird, isn't it?
So you notice Dakirn has 200 HP, Caliga has 340, and then poor Nirm only has 30. Being the small little girl that Nirm is. That's an awkward sentence. Let's see, what else can I talk about? If you want to read some donations, now's a good time as well.
Alright, I'm going to read the donations for the character names that I passed up until this point. Emerald Alley donated $10.30. I have so greatly enjoyed watching all of the awesome runs. Thanks to all the runners for doing this and for doing it for a good cause. I bet it's even more fun being there. Anyway, if there's a slot left to name a character, call one Allie J. If not, cool. You guys are the best. Franker Z. MegaMac84 donated $5 and said, name Edge to Mega, please. If not, then highs. Mega, you need to be in the top 12 donators to get a name. If you want to, you can donate more to claim your spot. But take a look at, go to tinyurl.com/AGDE run incentives. And the names that have already been tossed out, well, the characters that have already been named after people are highlighted in red. So that's how many, the ones in white are how many we have left to name. Just FYI. And then Doom Dimension donated $1.01 and said balance must be restored. As always.
Okay, so right there was a back attack, which we have no control over. Even only way to manipulate back attacks that I know of is via tasks. As far as I know, they are frame-based, and there's nothing you can do to control whether or not an encounter is a strike first, surprise attack, or a back attack.
Do you know how high the chances for that?
Oh, it is something like 10 over 256 for each, so it's about, what's 20 over 256? About, what, 1 in math? 1 in 20? But in a speedrun, it's obviously higher because you're trying to go fast. So the basic plot at this point is Caliga was trying to go through this cave and couldn't because there's a monster blocking the way. Caliga wants to go to Damsian to stop his daughter from getting married to this bard. And there's some crazy monster in the way. That's the darkness sword I was talking about earlier. That's the only chest we're going to pick up. And then Caliga's nice enough to tell us how to use tents in the tent cave, and then they talk about Rydia a little bit, and that's about all that happens. That's about all the dialogue you missed. And here's a waterfall. If we're really unlucky, the game will soft lock, which it didn't. So the next two bosses in this game have like really interesting sprites. If anybody ever wanted to make Twitch emotes, like these two faces are like the faces to use. Ooh. So there's some monsters whose script isn't to attack but to cast a spell, and if we get back attacked by any of those, it wastes infinitely more time. This is also a bad back attack because there's 4 enemies. I want Riddy to take as little damage as possible, and of course, she's dead.
Oh my god.
So that's that. I would reset if this were a PB attempt, but it's not. Fortunately, Galiga has the heals, so I can just keep going, not worry about it. Lose a little bit of time, but not the end of the world.
Are there any things in this run that can just completely ruin the run? Like horribly bad luck or something?
I mean, obviously you can die to any well, not any boss, but most bosses, and that'll set you back. But there's nothing that can really, like, there's some things I can forget that will totally ruin the run, like some glitches later. All right, so this is Octomom. This is also like another tutorial-esque boss, where every time you hit Octomom, every 2 times you hit Octomom, you lose a tentacle. Octomammoth for short. And every time Octomom loses a tentacle, he loses speed. So Rydia is our highest damage dealer because she can use the dancing daggers, or Nirm, sorry. And so we want to keep Rydia alive as much as possible. And unfortunately, things like that happen. Marathon luck. And not much we can do. Octomom can be a real troll. Sometimes Octomom won't hit Rydia ever, and sometimes Octomom will go right for the jugular. Another troll thing in this game, life can miss.
Nice.
So, thankfully it didn't. What else? In an optimal speedrun, if Rydia hasn't been hit very much, we will actually cast Stop on Tella. Because he's lit 1 cast, he doesn't typically do enough damage. And between Cecil and Rydia, they actually do more damage, and it actually ends up being faster using them and just completely stopping Tella and not having any of his turns after a certain point. But because Octomom isn't playing nice, I'm going to play super safe.
The tentacles disappear based on number of hits?
Correct.
Interesting. So can you kill him before his tentacles all
You
disappear?
can. It's difficult, but you can do it.
Will you do it?
No. If damage is really, really good, and I talked about stopping Tella, you can kill him with 2 left. Okay, so there's dialogue here. I should have waited on Cecil's turn and moved items in my inventory, but I wasn't thinking about it. What else? I'm gonna parry. It's actually, after he gets down to a certain point, it's faster to parry Tella's turns away instead of casting Lit 1. Just because the animation time on Lit 1 just takes too long. And Octomom should be dead in either this Dancing Dagger or the next one. Alright, we're gonna go with the next one. Or that one. No? Alright, he's dead with this one. I promise. Alright. So that was pretty terrible luck for that boss fight, and pretty terrible luck on the back attack on the way in. But that was the beast that was stopping us, so now we can go to Damcien. And so we're like, alright, we beat the boss, let's go to Damcien. I'm actually going to do the same thing I did at Mist right here, so I could show off another glitch later. I missed it. Never mind, I'm not going to do that, because I suck.
Was it the step?
Yeah.
Step thing? Okay.
And so there's actually a glitch you can do, because once you come out of this cutscene, you get the hovercraft, and then you can drive the hovercraft into the event trigger, and the hovercraft takes like the palette of the explosions, and it looks like orange. But I messed up, so my bad. Alright, so this is Damcien. You're walking out of the cave, you see Damcien get blown up by the Red Wings, which are what Cecil was the former captain of. And, oh, that's Tella's daughter! Oh. And, oh, there's the bard they were talking about, and so Tella's like, she's dead, you're not. Let's fix that. Kaliga. And upcoming is possibly one of the most famous quotes from any game ever. You spoony bard!
Oh, I heard that.
Spoony Bard.
Go-go US translation in the 90s. You missed the
Bard
spoony
percent.
bard.
He's too fast for me.
donate?
Like, no. Sounds so defeated.
I do have a donation that was $4, and Doom Dimension is making my life harder by saying, I want to compound all my donations to name a character balance. And that's too many letters, Doom Dimension.
BL and C.
Go to Bubbles. It makes more sense.
Bubbles doesn't fit either.
We can put Balank or...
We can do balance without an E.
Yeah, Balank.
Balank, yeah.
Balank.
Lance? I don't know.
Let us know.
Alright, so Tella's like, he listens to Edward. Edward's like, no, I'm actually the prince. And he's like, well, you didn't kill her. Golbez did. And Golbez is the new captain of the Red Wings. And so he's like, well, I'm going to go kill Golbez. Bye. And so he slaps Cecil out of the way, and he leaves. So now Edward is crying over his lost love, Anna, and Niram calls him a crybaby. And Edward's like, yeah, I'm a crybaby. I know. And then Dakiran comes up and slaps Edward in the face. He's like, stop crying, I need the Aunt Ruby, and you're the only one who can get me there. And Edward's like, true love, right? Alright, let's go. This is like the Final Fantasy IV synopsis. And so Edward joins the party as a bard. And Edward is another character that totally sucks, but he can use dancing daggers, and so he officially, in a speedrun, becomes amazing. Except when he's hurt and hides and is a total jerk. Stream appropriate language. Alright, so this is the hovercraft. Whatever. Edward's got the pimped out ride with the hovercraft, and so he's like, well, let's ride this over the shallows over to Antlion Cave here. And here we are. So Antlion Cave is a really typical thing. You can either walk right or left here. It actually ends up being the same number of steps, so you don't gain or lose anything, depending on which direction you go.
Are there random encounters in here?
Yes, there are.
Oh.
I'm getting lucky.
Yes.
There is a life one in this chest. I typically don't pick it up in a speedrun, but because it's a marathon, I'll grab it. I did submit this to SGDQ, and it is past first round cuts, but there's also a couple other people who have submitted it. So even if it does make it, I'm not sure if I would be the one running it. But
They don't want 64 star.
yeah.
No 64 star.
Yeah, and I do have the current record for this run. I set it practicing for AGDE. It's 3 hours, 11 minutes, 58 seconds. And I set that on Wednesday. Woo.
Nice.
Alright, so no back attacks up here is good, because if we get a back attack and Rydia dies, which is typical, that's good. So Antlion is a pretty... In a normal run, Antlion is actually super hard, but because we have the dancing daggers, he becomes really trivial. So Antlion will counter any physical attack, but the dancing dagger is considered a spell, and so we just chuck dancing daggers at him until he dies. Two really good rolls there, so this is going to be a 3-dagger fight. And I'm going to go hunting. I need this for later. Yep, so that's Antlion in a speedrun. Antlion's really, really trivial.
I missed the ones that you said should be good emo.
That one! That one!
Okay, I was going to say that's a good one.
That one and the one before it were the two. I should have pointed that out. And so now we got the Sand Ruby. We killed Antlion. Edward's all like, Antlion's normally tame. Why do the monsters keep increasing? And back attack turtles. So getting a back attack on the way in really sucks, because if you don't pick up that life one, then you're just down a character for the boss fight. Getting a back attack on the way out is not nearly as bad, because you're going to get fully healed once you get back to Kaipo.
What did you do?
So now would be another good time for donations if you got them.
Let's see here.
And if you don't, then I'll just make something up.
I do. Well, they're mostly updates to name requests.
That's fine.
So add $15 from Kinky Coyote, who said, add this onto Potato, best name hype. $10. Oh, this is not related to a name, but $10 from Anonymous, who says, Niram is a cutie, just saying. And then $10
Interesting.
from Doom Dimension, telling us to name it OCD then. This will be the next name.
I will need the next 2 names very shortly. And
Okay.
was there one specifically for Rosa, or was that changed?
No specifics right now.
Okay.
Donate to Name Yang Mobiles.
That is all. Okay, so we got the Sand Ruby. We're going back to save Rosa in Edward's Pimp Hovercraft, which you can use to drive. You don't have to walk through the cave. You can just drive over the shallows. And ta-da, you're at Kaipo. You skip the entire cave, which is actually kind of nice because you don't want to walk all the way back to the cave. Then we got some NPCs in my way. Normally, I would have them manipulated out of my way, but they're being jerks. And so you go up to Rosa, you talk to her, and you use the carrot. No, you use Sand Ruby. And then she's like, "Oh, you saved me. Thanks." And then Golbez is trying to gather all the crystals. He's got power over everybody in Baron. Everybody's acting really strange. Let's go save the crystal in Fabul, which is the next town over. Which is the... not the fire crystal? Fabul is the wind crystal. No, yeah. Dampstein's the fire crystal. Troya is the earth crystal. Mysidia is the water crystal. And yes, Fabul is the wind crystal. Been a long time I've had to think about that. And so here we have Edward lamenting his long-lost love. And how else to lament than to play music in the middle of the night right next to the inn, where you anger all the people in the inn who are trying to sleep. And so they wake up and try and kick his ass.
Well, people sure get angry at each other a lot in this room. I'm sorry, I'm German.
That's not what actually happens, but it's a better story. And so this is a scripted fight. This water hag actually has 65,535 hit points. But
One shot
it dies in 3 hits. It's a scripted battle. There's a couple of those in the run. Basically, Anna appears, who is Edward's dead girlfriend. So we have a zombie and a water hag attacking us at the same time. And gives him inspirational speech. Believe in yourself and don't be a little bitch. No. And so that's actually the way. Actually, I haven't talked about that. The way experience works in this game, this is going to actually be very important later on. Is you get experience in each fight, and it's split between all your party members. So if you don't have party members in your party, and it's like one person like that, all that experience gets funneled onto one person. And the same thing happens if a character is dead. If a character is dead, they don't get experience. And so that's going to be utilized later in the run to optimize getting experience on certain characters. And also the way this game works is if a character joins the party and then leaves, and then comes back later, they're gaining the same amount of experience you get in each fight. And so if you have one person alive in a boss battle, and they get like 1 billion experience, the characters you don't have also get 1 billion experience. Alright, I don't need that. Alright, so now we have Edward, and now we picked up Rosa, who is a white mage, and now I need those 2 names.
Oh, sorry.
That's
the
fine.
2 names are
I'm not quite-
OCD and Wolvie.
Alright. Oh, that's not O. CD.
And
Wolvie with a V?
VIE, yes. Very good.
Probably be plinking those. When I think about it. Oh well. Alright. Oh my god, this guy!
He likes doing that.
Oh, that's funny.
Attack of the NPCs.
That's pretty good. Alright, so now we are on our way to Fabul to assist them against Baron and warn them of an oncoming attack since Baron is gathering all the crystals. But in order to do that, we have to cross this mountain, and I am actually going to save right here because marathon. Alright, so here we have this ice wall, and there's no way to get past except to burn it down. But Rydia, who's got PTSD because her whole village was burned down by fire bombs, doesn't want to cast the fire spell. And then Rosa's like, "You're a black mage, cast fire." And then Rydia's like, "No." And that's basically what happens. Rosa's like, well, we kind of need you to do this. And then Rydia's like, alright, fine. And that's what happens. And so now she can cast fire for the rest of the run. Or Nirm. Nirm can suck it up and cast fire for the rest of the run. So this upcoming boss sequence, the first fight, I have absolutely no control over. Oh my god, that's actually a super nasty back attack. Okay, they didn't hit the squishy characters. That's good, that's really good.
The difference in HP between the characters is really high.
Yeah, it remains that way throughout the entire run too. Alright, so the first one I don't have any control over, and Karate Man Yang can Achu. Achoo! Alright. He can kill them in 3 rounds, 4 rounds, and 5 rounds. And 5 rounds takes like over 30 seconds longer than 3 rounds. And so this is a place to lose all kinds of time. And this is also a fight where that's actually a really good kick. That's also a fight where I have to count damage, and based on damage rolls, I kind of have to change what I'm doing a little bit, and that also loses a lot of time. Plus, if the boss decides to hit one of the squishy characters, I also lose time because I have to cure them. So this is a fight where I can lose a ton of time. That was actually pretty optimal. He killed one with the first kick, which doesn't happen very often. And alright, so I need to count damage here. I want to have a total of 800. That's really bad. Now I have to heal Edward, otherwise he won't survive the explosion. Alright, 300, 450, 470. Really need to do 330. That's super close. I'm just gonna fight. It was enough. So I wasted a little bit of time, not much. So Mom Bomb explodes after 800 damage and hits your whole party. I time a kick right there because she explodes into 6 bombs and kick hits everything. And then dancing... The gray ones have significantly more hit points than the orange ones. And so dancing daggers are used to take out the gray ones. And then the melee characters and Rosa take out the orange ones. I had a pretty low damage kick, but that's... Okay, Rosa's dead. That's not that really bad. I'm past the bad part now, so I'm not really worried about it. Thanks, Yang. You could have killed that one for me. Or, yeah, he's Yang still. Alright, so I didn't die. Already a plus. So, this fight is... The chance of dying is low, but it's there. But this fight is probably where I reset the most, just because there's so much time discrepancy that you have no control over. It's a long walk to the next town, so if you got anything else to ask or say or anything, feel free.
I was curious if you don't get XP on characters if they're dead.
That is correct.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Does that actually matter for the run?
Yes, it does. I will be intentionally killing off characters later during boss battles just to funnel experience to other characters.
Oh, so it gives more experience to the ones that are alive.
Correct.
So that's not bad.
Oh, wow.
I like the idea that they're just dragging that corpse along and they're just throwing it there, like on the side. Oh, God. Or if there's like 4 party members dead, it's just like one dude carrying them.
Oh, and then he gets...
Dump them in the corner. All right, there.
I gotta fight these guys! Thump. Thump. Okay, so this walk has one of the highest encounter rates in the entire game. And there's also a lot of 6 enemy encounters. So this is...
Are there any items in the game that like put the encounter rate a bit down?
No, not in this game. Maybe in the Japanese version, because the Japanese version has a ton of items that this game doesn't have, like items that cast status effects and all kinds of fun stuff that we just didn't get. Like there's one that casts a random summon. There's all kinds of fun stuff.
Is the Japanese version faster or slower than this?
It's hard to tell because the Japanese community doesn't use glitches and we do.
Okay.
So That's the way it is in most Final Fantasy speedruns, is for whatever reason the Japanese community typically frowns on glitched runs. So,
Literally cheating.
I don't know. I guess this is another place where I can die if things go awry, so get the good old safety save.
All those changes, were those put back in when they did like the remaster
Yes.
thing? So it's just specific to the SNES.
Correct. I am, what was the next name? And... never
Next
mind.
name is Batman.
Batman! All caps?
Sure.
It's all caps now. So Yang is officially Batman. Batman! Alright. Where? Alright, so I'm gonna have to do that again if I die. Please remind me. Batman! I love this already. Oh, it's OCD! Alright. So, this upcoming sequence, the three manly men run off to fight all the enemies by themselves. And that really sucks. So, Edward is the primary damage dealer because he's the only one who can use dancing daggers. But he also has the possibility of dying in one hit. And Edward also has this feature where if he's at critical hit points, he will run away. So, in order to try and minimize damage as much as possible, you have to do a can't run buffer. We don't have to. And that makes it so only one guard will hit you. And you notice the guard did 66. Edward has 102 hit points. OCD has 102 hit points. And Yang just failed me miserably, but thankfully Edward is fast. Alright. And so here I want to rearrange stuff in my inventory. Like, I don't need the Shadow Sword at all, so I'm dumping it really low. I'm also going to be moving some other stuff. And that's going to happen... you'll notice that's a common theme throughout the run, is during any kind of dialogue or any kind of animation, I can move items in battle, and that doesn't waste me any time, because that time's going to be taken up anyway. So that's a very common theme in this game, and that's... It seems minor, but it's the kind of thing that adds up to minutes over time. That was good. Alright, haven't messed that up yet. It's only a matter of time. Alright, come on, Batman! Yeah, Batman! Alright, I like this. This is good. Batman's attacks can be really suspect, and that's a theme that remains throughout the entire run until we get a specific claw for him. Alright. So another guard fight here. These are the dangerous ones. So the guards could do anywhere from like 17 to like 90 to Edward, to OCD. Yang, please, dude. I actually need that. There we go. Alright. So this upcoming part is kind of funny. You retreat into the King's Throne Room, and you and your monk buddy are like, alright, let's do this. And then the monk runs up and unlocks the door. And you're like, what? What are you doing? Oh, it turns out you're actually this giant green flying monster. How could we not figure that out?
Also been a good disguise.
Yep. Is there anything you guys have questions about? A lot of this has become automatic for me, so if I'm not explaining something, that's like, what the hell is going on here?
I was going to ask if the dancing daggers can miss.
The dancing daggers cannot miss. I think it's because they're considered a spell cast. And OCD falls over. Oh no! Scary music. Just another guard fight. Alright, so I am through the Fabul sequence, which is good, because I didn't get trolled at all, actually. Minor damage trolls, but not really that bad. What do we got? I don't need this. Alright. Alright, so Baron sends their new monster army through us, and we retreat all the way to the Crystal Room, where we have our last stand. And in comes some person we know kind of well. It's Asimov! And Dakiran's like, hey, what's up, buddy? And Asimov's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you. I'll let the dialogue speak for itself. Asimov is a man of many words. Here we want Kain to do as much damage as possible, and that didn't happen at all. So I actually, because Dakiran didn't take enough damage, I have to sit through this extra dialogue here. But if he puts Cecil into the weakened state, the dialogue is shorter and the fight ends, and I don't have to sit through this perish dialogue either. So that's a bit of unfortunate luck that once again, I have no control over. You can actually hit yourself to try and put yourself into the weakened state, but if you don't get the rolls, you don't get the rolls. And here's the debut of the main villain of this game, Golbez. He gets his own theme, he's dastardly, he shoots lightning bolts. He's got control over Kain. He eats Rosa. Om nom nom nom. What was Rosa's name again? I don't remember. And Kain's like, you had a narrow escape to Kain. And Rydia's like, well, I couldn't have done anything there. Sorry, guys. Wolvie. Wolvie is Rosa's name. Okay. I'm trying so hard to use the character names. And Niram's like, I'm just gonna hands off on this one, not gonna get myself involved here. And everybody's sad, and then Niram's like, she's not dead, we can save her. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's kind of true. And then we go on our merry way. Oh man, what was that? What? Alright, so after a long, hard fight, we have to sleep in the inn. The king was also wounded in the fighting, even though he was in his room. Somehow. Batman, you must be tired! I just love Batman. And they're discussing what to do. They decide, oh, let's get on a boat and go see what Sid's up to, because Sid can fix all our problems. Because he's an airship engineer or something. And so some stuff's gonna happen here, so I'm gonna take the tiara off of Niram, and while I'm here, I'm gonna equip the black sword, because that was in the menu already.
Question from chat.
Is there any grinding? At 2 hours and 30 minutes into the run, there will be grinding. There is one fight that I will explain in excruciating detail before I get there. But outside of that, all of the experience in this run comes from bosses, and there's no grinding. And in the any percent run with the 64 floor glitch, there's absolutely no grinding. Alright, so we're on a boat.
Boat music.
And here we have Batman's wife.
What? That's new.
There's Rachel. In this translation, she never gets a name, even though she's a recurring character. It's always Batman's wife. So, shout-outs to equality and all that. I'm mashing her even though I don't have to mash. She does. I don't know what it is. I haven't actually played the DS one all the way through.
I have one donation of $10 that I think this is the Star Wars Imperial March. Dun, 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 dun. I want to eat them, so kill the animals or save them so I can cook them later. Yeah, okay. Save, kill, then cook. Well, you're about 2 hours too late, but they died, so you can pick up the scraps or roadkill or something.
Speaking of dying,
Is that
wait, no. No.
What?
Oh, you think
Uh-oh!
The plot thickens.
it's a Japanese game, so you...
The Masters of the Seas, that's Leviathan! It's not Leviathan, it's Leviathan. And there's our buddy. Hey guys!
Spent some time at the beach.
Wanna have a barbecue? And the whole crew is like, oh my god, it's Leviathan! And then Leviathan starts attacking. And Rudy's gone. And Batman tries to save Near. Near Batman! Best line ever.
Batman always jumping after the girls.
And then OCD's flailing around on the ship. Leviathan's like, you're going down with me, buddies. And that's the game. Game over. No.
And time.
No. Wow, is it 54? Okay, well I guess I'm naming people, so it's not terrible. Alright, so Cecil wakes up on a beach in the middle of nowhere, or sorry, Dekiern, and none of his friends are anywhere to be found. Guess I'm alone. And it just so happens that he washes up on a beach and gets an encounter,
I hate it when that
and then
happens.
runs away. And so we don't get any sad music. There's sad music that plays right there, but because we got an encounter, we don't get it. We're in Mysidia, which is the place he totally destroyed in the intro. And this white mage is going to troll me. Alright. And so you talk to the elder that you've murdered all of his like followers, friends, people, and he's like, well, if you go to that mountain that's full of monsters, hee-hee, and you try to become a paladin, I'll forgive you. I'm going to send the most two annoying kids in our village with you. Palom and Porom. 5 years old, canonically.
Wow. Those are gonna help.
And so now we have some mages. Mysidia is also the first place in the speedrun where we buy a ton of items. We buy a lot of equipment, and we buy a lot of armor. And I also need the next two names.
Ready now?
Yes.
FF7 sucks.
SUX.
Okay,
SUX.
got it.
And potato.
Alright, let's name you Potato. Alright, we got Potato, the brother and sister Potato, and FF7 sucks. It's a strange family. FF7SU.
Just waiting for the sword to start and shit.
Okay, so now we buy a whole bunch of equipment. The salt, I can feel it from here. And then we buy a whole bunch of healing items that sustain us for a while. And now it's a long walk to the mountain that we were told to go to repent for our sins. I actually misstepped right there. I should have walked one down. But if you got anything, any questions, any donations? If not, then...
Not this time.
Okie
I
dokie.
got a question.
Sure.
You get a lot of characters in this game. Do you like get at some point to choose whom to use, or is it all scripted?
It's scripted in this version, but in the future releases, I think the GBA version allows you to choose party members.
Alright, so you're basically just gonna power up the guys you need for the end game.
Correct. I'm specifically only going to level 1 character.
Oh, okay.
And then by proxy, I'm going to level 2 characters because that reason I mentioned earlier, that characters gain experience if they rejoin the party. They gain the same amount of experience, and so that the skew of having everybody else dead in a grind fight doesn't get applied to them, so they get the same crazy amount as the person you're leveling. Okay, so like the other mountain, this one has a firewall. It's apparently a common thing on mountains to have elemental walls blocking the way. And here, Potato gets to show off his stuff.
Potato ice. Potatoes. Ew.
My favorite.
Pow! Alright. So we're also going to meet somebody else on this mountain. Spoiler alerts. But in the meantime, we're going to have a cutscene where... in the Hall of Justice! No. We get an insight into Golbez. He's like, that Cecil guy, he's kind of a threat. Let's send our first fiend of the elements, Mylon, after him. And Kane's all like, why don't you send me? I kicked his ass! And Golbez is like, shut up, Kane. Pretty much.
So he's doing.
Or Asimov. Sorry, go ahead.
He's doing the major mistake of every villain to send his weakest guy, and then the next weakest guy.
Yep.
So
That's exactly what happened.
keep doing that.
In order of weakest to strongest.
Alright, so this mountain has a ton of really nasty back attacks. Hopefully we don't see them, but we might. Particularly the spirit monsters, because they cast Fire 1. And there are some encounters, those guys right there. There are some encounters where there's 4 of them and then 3 other enemies, and so it just takes like a minute. That one, that encounter right there!
Thanks, game. Sorry.
That's fine. And hey, look! It's that guy, Kaliga. I couldn't remember his name, to be honest with you. Alright, so Kaliga is here. He's trying to beat Golbez. He realizes, oh crap, I'm not really that strong. I'm not strong enough. So he's looking for the legendary magic Meteo. Or Meteor, but it's Meteo in this. And he's like, this mountain has some kind of magical powers, so I'm gonna head up here, see what I can find. But I couldn't find anything. Maybe coming with you guys will help me. And that's about it. Coming up here is a new strat that has never been seen before in a marathon. It was shown off in the Final Fantasy Relay Race by the Roth, who is a very good FF4 player from Australia. But these are strats that were originally thought to be only tasks, and then I figured out a way to do them in real time. So it's going to revolve around a glitch that involves the twins. The twins have an ability called Twin Cast, where they can cast the two of them cast together, and they cast some superpower magic, and it does not superpower. It does a fair amount of damage, but it takes up both of their turns. So what happens is if we kill a twin or interrupt the twin at a certain point, we can interrupt the. What do I want to do? Sorry, hang on. I need to think a little bit. I need to do this. We can interrupt the cast and glitch out the other twins' basically actions to where they start mimicking other party members. And what that allows us to do is fun. And I'm not going to spoil that.
And why was it thought to be only tasks?
It is the timing on it is very, very specific, and it's also version 1.0 only, I believe. We've been trying to figure out. It seems like 1.1 versions of this cart cannot do this glitch. So, fortunately, I have the right one. Oh, where are my character 2? Where are my character 2? There. Okay, a little slow. I'm fine with that. I might have to reset here. This is very RNG dependent. So. Alright, I got the timing. Whether or not this does enough damage is another story. Alright, I needed her to die there. Let's go ahead and do this.
We have a $25 donation from Catastrophic4, who says, was it Nirm? He will show you how! Also, good luck from the FF4 community. Oh, and I would like to see Sid renamed to Arnold.
Arnold! Okay. We'll see how that happens. Okay. Try this again. Yep, Catastrophic 4 is another Final Fantasy runner. So, thanks, Kata. He's done a lot for the community, too. So, shout out to Kata. Oh no, I have to move my Cure 2s again. I hate my life. Alright. Ooh, no. Nope. So that timing right there is what makes this glitch really hard to do. Shit.
Wow, FF7 sucks isn't that bad.
It's funny, I practiced this like 3 days ago, and I never had the problem where she never died. But then all of a sudden, we get to a marathon, and look at this. This was happening in the practice room, too, so... Yeah, it happens. Marathon luck. That's okay. There's nobody running after me. This is the glitch I was talking about. I was like, however long it takes. Alright, still got the timing. There we go. Alright. Not out of the woods yet, but the semi-hard part is done. So you notice Potato is going to take a turn here that I did not do. That's because Potato is mimicking the Kieran's input. I need to parry this turn. Alright. Okay, waited there. Okay. Alright. That's very good. Where is? There is. Alright, don't miss. Alright, good. Carrots! And so...
So Potato is using a carrot?
Potato is using a carrot, yes.
Sounds delicious.
Alright, so what happened there is I tricked the game into using the same idol that the Kieran used, but because his turn stopped and I canceled out of using that item, and then I swapped the positions, it used the carrot item as a weapon. And so, sorry, I forgot what I was doing. That apparently has the code for... Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. For a very strong fire attack. And the same thing is going to happen here. I should have saved between these fights. Oopsie. Well, we'll see what happens. This could be very interesting. I'm going to try and do the same thing here. The Kieran getting hit here is... Ooh, that's a little high on the damage. That's fine. If he doesn't hit the Kieran on his next turn, I should be mostly in the clear. Okay, that's kind of bad too. Alright, now I need the Kieran to die. There's nothing I can do. If he dies to poison, that's perfectly acceptable. Thank you. No!
No Potato!
Okay, so had he not died right there, I'm sorry, chat, I just blew out your eardrums. I would have mimicked the trash can and Mylan would be dead, but because that didn't happen, I have to recover. And so I can still recover from this, it's just a little on the difficult side. Damn, I had it. I like full had it, and then didn't. Alright. I am going to try something, and if it doesn't work, then it's just not going to work. And then I'll have to reset and do both fights again. But hey. Okay. Give me another turn before you kill him. Thank you. Alright, life, swap. Wait. Thank you. Okay. This time. There we go. The recovery.
Good job.
Whew.
Carrot? I was just gonna say that.
Man, he got like 1 billion experience. That might actually screw me up a little bit. That's okay. Alright, I can also get back attacked and die on these like 3 steps. So that's another thing that can happen. There we go. Whew, made it. Okay. Alright, so that is the new strat. If both of those go ideally, it's faster than our current strats in both fights. So I think there is a little bit of hate from the FF4 community pointed in my direction because they're very random dependent. Not that Mylan wasn't already a very trolly boss and RNG dependent as it stands. So here, Cecil hears a voice, gets teleported to whatever shrine this is, and the sword appears from the sky, and he's told to defeat his dark side, basically. And what you're supposed to do in this fight is stand there, not attack, because you're a paladin now. Paladins don't attack people. However, that's not what we want to do. We want to throw dancing daggers at him! Because this is what paladins do. They kill people. Aha! Oh, bad damage. Yes, that's a very good point. So normally Cecil would have the Dark Wave move in the other SNES version. So now he's dead. We don't get any dialogue, and that's faster. So Cecil is a full-fledged paladin by brutally murdering his past self. Or sorry, Dakirn. What's my time right now?
1:10.
I am not gonna ask that question anymore. A good pace would be about an hour to an hour and a minute. So
we have to run back and rename characters.
That's true. Yeah, but I've also had some bad luck. That's okay. We're having fun.
Oh yes, we do.
Having fun.
All right. So Cecil turns into a paladin, and then Kaliga's also like, Medio? Oh yeah. I also do all these like 50 billion spells that I had forgot because I'm old. And so now Tella becomes this spellcasting badass with like almost every spell in the game. With only 90 MP. So, I do. So Tella only has 90 MP, and Medio to cast Medio, it's in his spell list, but it casts 99 MP. And so Tella never ever gains max MP from levels, and so that's the game's way of mitigating you from ever casting Medio. But we have ways. Alright. So now another long walk. If there's any questions anybody has.
The game actually does that. Like they give you the spell, but you can't use it in a normal playthrough.
Yes.
Is this something that is used in the game elsewhere though? So
Yes.
That's why it has stats and stuff.
I believe. Yeah, Fusoya comes with it, who is another character later in the game,
Oh, and they
then
can actually use
then other characters can learn it as well if at a high enough level. Yes.
But his use of it is story.
Yes, Tella's use of it is totally story based.
It's still a tease like
so
crazy.
yeah, only has 190 MP, so you can't restore anything.
Correct.
So you can't just spam it.
It's a very costly spell. It also takes a very long time to cast. In terms of, I think it's probably has the longest cast time of any spell in the game. Maybe Life 2. Life 2's up there too. But I'm pretty sure Medio is a lot longer. Okay, so we walked our way off this mountain, didn't get any back attacks. Woo. And so we're gonna grab a chicken and walk back to Mysidia. Oh, we're gonna look at these rat guys.
We're not getting lucky with the back attacks today.
It hasn't been that bad.
Didn't get any ghosts, right?
Yeah. It's not so much the back attacks that you get, it's what enemies are in the back attacks. Come here, buddy. Thank you. And so I haven't had